was not done by NASA. We raised over $6 million to do this job. And it's a long, long story, which I won't bore you with. Now, this was all gutted. These consoles have been sent up to Kansas, to the Cosmosphere up there, and they rebuilt everything to our specs. That is the simulation control room over there. When we're not flying, we run simulations. Now, the simulation thing is a closed loop simulation. You got this room, the simulation people, and the crew in the simulator, different building. They're all connected together. So we're gonna do a phase, like let's say we were gonna practice landing. The crew that was landing would be in the simulator. We would get flying, and they would induce pre-planned problems to see what they would do and what we would do, and how we would do it together, and whether our documentation was proper. That's how we train. And we would train in here 12, 14, 16 hours a day. You came in the morning and you left when we were finished. The debriefings were merciless. This was not a nice place to be if you had thin skin. If you got in here and you were working and the problem was in your responsibility and you did it wrong, and during a debriefing, you were told it was wrong, and you were properly told what was wrong and what you're gonna do to fix it. If you were thin-skinned, you went home crying and you found another job. This was not the place to be if you were a nice guy. The second part of that was those communication loops that you hear here ran all over the world every day. So while we were simulating, someone in Australia was listening. Someone in Maryland was listening. So there was no privacy about whether you had screwed up or if you'd done a good job. This was not some place to come to work where you're looking to be Mr. Nice and everybody's gonna be sweet. The big thing that was here is something we all talk about. If you got in trouble during a mission or you were in problems, help came. Everybody helped each other. You didn't ask for help, it came. If it came from the people in the factory, it came from the people in the factory. If it came from somebody sitting over there, it came from over there. We were a great example of this thing you always hear about, there's no I in team. That's the way it worked here. After the mission, every mission, there'd be parties and all. Streets you came down, you couldn't find a place to park. I usually got a hotel room because I couldn't get the car home. After that was over with and the crew came back and everything, there was another party. And that party was with the flight controllers and the flight crew only. No one else was allowed in. And in that party, everybody got told how they screwed up. And got told out loud and in front of everybody else. And if you couldn't handle that, then you better get on that water. And that's the way we operated. We had tremendous mentors. People like Gene, Glenn Lunny, Kraft, Jerry Griffin, who I think you probably meet tonight. They were great leaders. And our people came from different backgrounds. Some of us came out of the military, some of us came out of industry, some of us came out of the education world. And they formed these teams, and that's how this operated. These displays are projected from back behind here, a system called an Idafor. Okay? Now, each one of these consoles, like I told you upstairs, has a different area of responsibility. So if any of you have any friends that worked here, or relatives or what, and you want to know where they worked or what console, ask up.
Where'd you work at?